You know, Jesus said that he came to give life and what?
Life more abundantly.
And in life more abundantly. Give it to the full. And what I believe and absolutely convicted about is that as an Adventist church, we're even given a unique, special spin on what it looks like to live your best life. And you know, we probably emphasise certain aspects of that message a little bit more than others. You know, for example, we've talked about diet lots over the years, but you know, it was actually a whole package, an incredibly rich package, comprehensive package that really does have the power to empower you to live your best life. So what we've done, I've been actually sort of working on this for about 15 years now, and this is why I'm so excited to see it finally culminate and come to fruition. But what we've done is, in recognition of the fact that, do you know what the major health crisis of our time is? It's actually not chronic conditions, although they are very problematic like, you know, your diabetes and your heart disease, but it's actually mental health. Many people today are struggling to feel the way that they would like to feel. And what we know is that that has a huge impact on pretty much every other aspect of your life. And so what the Live More project is all about is targeting positive mental health, emotional vitality. And I love that word, vitality. Because you know what? Who doesn't want to be more vital? Just raise your hand if you would. No, I'm not interested in vitality, please. Anyone here? No, this is good. This is good. Stay with me here. So the Live More project is essentially a 10-week program that steps you through in an educational way, backed up by the latest science, that shows you, hey, this is what the science says can actually help you feel better. Right? And as I said, who doesn't want that? And then it's accompanied by some challenges which involve putting those procedures into practice. And some of them, they're quite fun challenges. They're not arduous or hard. But essentially this whole program is about helping people to come alive again, to live their best life. So I want to give you a little bit of a snapshot as to what's involved in the program. Here are the sessions, the 10 lessons, I suppose, if you want to say that, over the course of the 10 weeks. So the first one is called Your Limbo is Listening. Now, that will mean absolutely nothing to you at this point in time. But in that lesson, what we actually look at is basic neuroscience, so how your brain actually works. And the reason that limbo word sounds like, really? What's that about? Well, we actually now know there's the part of your brain that is responsible for how you feel, your emotional state, is called the limbic system. But because I'm an Aussie, I give everything nicknames, and so I just call it the limbo. And that, once again, sort of hints at the tone of this program. You know, it's accessible to everyone. We're even teaching this in the schools nowadays. And essentially, in session 1, you learn about why things like language, you know, why it is that memorising inspirational literature is so good for our emotional well-being. And so that's lesson 1. Lesson 2 is called Motion Creates Emotion. I want to experiment with something with you, if you can entertain me. I would like you all to stand up for just a moment. Stand up. Even if you're viewing, stand up. Now, I'd like you just to sort of wriggle your toes a little bit, shrug your shoulders, and then take a big breath and actually pull your shoulders back and smile. Smile whilst you do it. Everyone's smiling. Oh, look at this. What an attractive bunch of people we have here. Okay, give your toes and fingers one last wriggle, and then grab a seat. I heard a rumour that you've been sitting since about 2 o'clock, and I had to get you up. But you know what the science actually shows? The science actually indicates that how you posture your body and how you move your body changes the way that you feel. And it happens very, very rapidly. And so in that lesson, we actually look at what's the science behind this. You notice that we're not actually talking about exercise, because I know for many people it's like, that sounds like pain and sweat. And some of you might not like that. We just talk about moving and things that you can do with your body to change the way that you feel. Why? Because motion creates emotion. That's lesson 2. Lesson 3 is titled Blue and Green Should Often Be Seen. In there, we show the science behind why it is that outdoor spaces, why getting out into natural environments, the blue, bright blue, the green spaces, why that is so therapeutic for us on an emotional level. I find it absolutely fascinating when Ellen White wrote in Ministry of Healing, she talks about the foundation of the Adventist health message, if you want to call it that. But she lists in there things like sunlight and pure air. And what we're discovering, the science is overwhelming here. You'll love this session, just showing how it is that this natural environment can have such a profound effect on how we feel. Session 4 is called Immerse in an Uplifting Social Environment. Or the catchy little title is Together Feels Better. So we look at relationships there. So you can see this is a very comprehensive program where we're going all over. We're looking at, yes, stuff from lifestyle medicine, but stuff from new frontiers in psychology and basic neuroscience. Very, very comprehensive program. Then moving on to session 5. Do you know that one of the most fascinating spaces in psychology at the moment is the discovery and the scientific exploration of what people can do, not just to mend their misery, but actually to feel better, more vibrant. And do you know what they're discovering in this branch of psychology? They're actually discovering that what you focus on affects how you feel. We know this. This is intuitive. But guess what? Some of the greatest things that we can focus on are things like what we're grateful for, what we're excited about, what we have hope in. It fascinates me that modern psychology is discovering what we already knew. Things like prayer. Prayer is that, isn't it? Focusing on what we're grateful for. In being grateful, it actually turns your attention away from the things you don't have to the things that you do have. Right? So in that session called Feelings Follow Your Focus, we actually explore why it is that our brains work this way and how we can actually be more intentional about focusing on positive things. And there's a strong biblical basis for that. Session 6, Food Feeds Your Mood. We actually go into some incredible science here in a very accessible way, but we learn about what this new frontier of biomedical research, which is the gut. Do you know that you actually have, get this is not great for your self-esteem, so please forgive me for this, but do you know that you have about 10 times more bacteria in your gut than you have human cells in your body? All right, so I just want to, just affirm you all of the fact that you are 10 times more microbe than you are human. All right, it's not exactly uplifting for our self-esteem, but what we now know is the health of our gut has a huge impact on the health of our brain and the function of our brain. Right? And so much so that your gut is sometimes referred to as your second brain. The connections are so strong. And so in this session, we look at the science behind that. And we look at what you can eat in order to be up more and less down. Fascinating stuff, fascinating stuff. You know what I want to say about this program? This is what excites me so much about it. Often I think when we start to talk about health, particularly in the church, we can often feel guilty about the things we're not doing, that we are, or the things that we are doing that we shouldn't be. This program is not like that at all. Everything about this program is pitched in the positive, right? So I actually never tell you what not to eat. I just show you what the science says you can eat to actually feel better. Why wouldn't you want to do that? And so that's Food Feeds Your Mood. Session 7, we look at Rest to Feel Your Best. We look at the science behind sleep here. We actually see why it is that when you are sleep deprived, your brain actually is geared towards the negative. You are more inclined to see negative things. And what we can do to actually help mend our, what we call sleep hygiene, or sleeping patterns. So, I think we haven't spoken enough about sleep. Sleep is a pillar of living your best life. Session 8, we move into Stress Less. And so we actually look at some strategies. You know what? In that session, you'll love it, I actually look at the science behind work-life balance, and in particular, the Sabbath. There are fascinating studies that have been done showing the benefits of Sabbath adherence, why it has the powerful effect that it does. It was made for us. It's a gift to us. And we look at the science behind that. So that's Stress Less. Then the last 2 sessions, session 9, we look at Giving is Living. Right? And you, friends, and I know this to be the case. It's more blessed to give than receive. And I believe at an emotional level, we do. By giving, we actually receive. If we purposefully and intentionally drag other people down, we go down with them. But if we purposefully and intentionally lift others up, then we go up with them too. And so in that session, we look at this whole idea of service, which, what psychology is discovering is probably the most important thing, the most effective and evidence-based thing you can do to live your best life is to adopt that service mentality. So we look in that session on how you can do that. And then the last session is called What Does It Take to Flourish? And in there we particularly look at constructs like meaning and purpose. And where do we get that from? You know, what I really love is that modern psychology now has discovered that having a sense of meaning in your life is paramount to living your best life. And you know how they define meaning? I love this. This is secular psychology. Defines meaning as having a sense of belonging to and serving something bigger than yourself. Isn't that incredible? And so we look at that notion in that final session. Guys, you know, this is, I can't emphasise this enough. This is a program, a positive program, a comprehensive program that is designed to help you live your best life. Designed to actually empower you to feel better. And guess what? There is a massive need for that in our community. There is a great interest in this. This is a kind of program that you could feel very comfortable and proud to invite your non-Christian friends to. So, you know, what I'm hoping and our dream for this is that this is a program that churches can be hosting, connecting with their community, creating authentic relationships with them. It's all hosted on a really cool platform. There's actually even an app for it. And so it's a really exciting space. Now, because this is sort of part of a launch, would you like to see just the first little snippet of the Lesson 1 video? Okay then, only because you pleaded with me. So here we go. Let's have a look.
And I want to help you to live more. We're about to explore fun and fascinating insights that will help you to live your best life. Now you'll see that at times I get very passionate about it because it really can be life-changing. You'll also meet a good friend of mine, Dr. Jace, who didn't know what he'd signed up for, but we have a lot of fun. So let me ask you a question. How much of your enduring happiness do you think is determined by your circumstances? And how much do you get to choose? Well, you might be surprised. It's interesting to learn that studies suggest that our life circumstances only contribute about 10% to our level of enduring happiness. And you know, knowing that offers a lot of hope. What's intriguing is that about another 50% of our level of enduring happiness is determined by our genetics. Now that's why some people are more naturally cheery than others, like this guy. So if 50% is genetics and 10% is circumstances, this leaves roughly 40%. Now that's almost half of your happiness that you get to control and decide. We all want to be happy and enjoy emotional vitality, and that's what this project is all about. But to do so, you need to learn about a special part of your brain that I call the limbo.
I apologise for that. Just like, I just tune out. Ugh. Anyway, that's the tone of it, so you can capture it. Who would like to watch more of that? We're not going to do it now. Okay, so you have the opportunity to do that. I'm going to tell you in just a moment. What we can tell you is that this has not just been a program we've developed. We've actually piloted it. We've rolled it out. We've actually got, Geraldine is actually doing her PhD studying the effectiveness of this. This is how exciting it is. We've collected data now on over several hundred people that have been through the program. And this is a picture of us. This is a study that Geraldine did where it won the best research prize at the American College of Lifestyle Medicine just last October. You can give that a round of applause if you like. And so the point is this works. This works. It is evidence-based, as evidenced by testimonies like this.
The Live More project encourages us to focus on living our best life. It was a 10-week course, and at the end of each weekly lesson we were assigned daily and weekly challenges to complete. And I found that by the end of 10 weeks, I didn't have to think about those challenges anymore. They'd just become a part of my everyday life. What I enjoyed about the Live More project was the outdoor activities, especially watching the sunrises. By week 3, my grandchildren had taken a great interest in what I was doing and wanted to be involved. Suddenly my weekly challenges weren't called challenges anymore, they were called adventures. And they took over planning all the places we could go to enjoy the blue and green and what beaches we could visit to watch a sunrise. When I saw how excited my grandchildren were with the project, I thought this should be taken to schools. Imagine how wonderful it would be if all our children were taught to live their best life from an early age. I feel the biggest impact has been with my personal life. I was inclined to be a bit of a workaholic, but since doing the program, my life has changed in many ways. I now walk nearly every day. I've changed from a night person to a morning person so I can enjoy the sunrise. I get at least 8 hours sleep every night and feel so much better for it. My diet has changed and the 8 kilos I've lost has just been an extra bonus. And I now spend a lot more time outdoors with family and friends. And I really believe that the Live More project definitely helps with your work-life balance. I really recommend the Live More project, and I have already told so many people about the program and how it could change their life. I have worked at the SAN for 28 years, and in that time I've been asked to participate in many projects, and I can honestly say this is the best thing I've ever done. What would I say to anyone would be, if you haven't done the program, you should, because it'll change your life.
Oh, it makes me, as I said, this has been a work in progress for many, many years, and it's something we can be truly proud of, something that you could share with your community and use to influence your own life. So, I have so much I'd love to say, but I don't have the time to say it, other than get involved. This really can be a game changer for you. So here's how to do it. There are the details for you. God bless you.